Hello, my name is Jacob Magnon, and this is my final presentation for the history of Korean K-pop and films. For this presentation, I wanted to talk a little bit about why Korean films interest me, and I wanted to explore how I can continue pursuing this topic moving into the future. So, just looking at an agenda for the slideshow, I'm going to talk about uh, a little bit just of an introduction about Korean films and what makes them what they are. Then I'm going to talk about my own personal motivation for exploring this and why I am making this presentation. Then I'm going to move on to how these films are significant in our culture today and how they continue to be significant moving into the future. And then I'm going to just look at some of the films that I want to watch in the coming years. So, just a brief introduction. Korean films really have a specific style when you watch them that it's really different from a lot of the things you see in Hollywood. And so I listed three of them here, being social commentary, genre blending, and those Han themes that we talked about in the lecture. So social commentary, I think, is one of the most obvious things that we've seen. Like I have on the slide here, Parasite, a very clear social commentary on on the class disparity, right? And it speaks on more than that, but that is the main topic, right? And I think Korean films do a really good job of exploring this topic and more in a lot deeper sense than a lot of standard Hollywood movies do. And then genre blending, a lot of Korean movies will switch from comedy to thriller to action all within the same movie, which I think makes them really unique and really fun to watch personally. And then finally, those Han themes that we talked about in class, that concept of grief and sorrow and resentment is really apparent in a lot of these movies. Even if they're comedies, they can still represent these themes, and it really gives it a different tone than a lot of Hollywood movies that I've seen or that I'm used to. So, with the Korean New Wave, as we've discussed in class, these films have an increasing impact on culture. So, the more that K-pop grows and spreads across the globe, the more people will be exposed to Korean films and the more impact that is going to have on the culture. So, looking at my personal motivation, on the screen here, I put just a poster for Little Forest, which is the first movie assignment we had in this class. And this is one I personally didn't think I was going to enjoy that much, just based off of kind of the concept. It didn't seem like it was going to interest me that much. But my mindset completely changed after I watched the movie. So in this one, it's a really simple, heartwarming story. Nothing crazy really happens, um, but it's just kind of a slice of life, and you get to see the main character really struggle with making a big decision in her life. You know, she's trying to figure out, should she go to the big city or should she stay where she is currently, and she has, you know, other influences in her life from her friends around her and from her past with her mom that are pulling her in different directions, and she really doesn't know what to do. But the longer that she stays in the countryside, she really starts to grow a personal sense of direction. The longer she's in the countryside, the more she knows, and the more she's confident within herself that this is actually where she wants to be, no matter if she thinks maybe she should go to the big city. She knows that inside that's not what she wants to do. And so I think with me graduating from college, this just felt really applicable at the time. I've definitely been kind of in this scenario where I don't know which direction in life I want to go. It's really hard when there's a big decision and you're just supposed to know what to do. And that's what this movie attacks. Like, you're not supposed to just know what to do like that. It takes time, and sometimes you just have to let life come to you. Um, but yeah, that's kind of the message that I got from this movie, and it was portrayed in a really easy way to digest. Um, and it wasn't like an action movie. There's not exciting like different plot points to really keep track of. It's just sit back and take in what's happening. And it was kind of a different movie for me, which is why I enjoyed it so much. I feel like it really exposed me to a new kind of movie that I initially didn't think I would like. So, looking at the cultural significance of Korean films, I put four main points here. The first, breaking through the language barrier, right? A lot of people, I know personally, a lot of people that they see a movie or something that's in another language and they don't even consider watching it, right? Movie, K drama, or music, all of the above, people will just ignore it, right? So I think K-pop has done a really good job of forcing people to listen to K-pop because even if they don't know what they're saying, they still really like the catchy beats, and they're fun to listen to, right? And the music videos, of course. Um, but all of that has really helped, um, you know, inspire more people to get involved with Korean culture. And then making films new again. I feel like every movie I've watched so far, every Korean movie I've watched has been its own separate, distinct, and unique movie. And I think there are so many movies I watched today, and they slap a big actor on it and say, "Here you go," and I watch it, and after the fact, I'm like, "Eh," like it was a movie. It was there. I guess it had some exciting moments, but at the end, I'm like, yeah, I didn't really get much from that. It was exciting at points, and that's it, really. Um, but a lot of the Korean films I've watched have had real like deep meaning, and they're really rewatchable. Like I watched Parasite, I think 3 times now, and I know I'm gonna go back and watch some of the films we've already watched in this class, just because they're so deep and thought provoking. And then they encourage social discourse. So that kind of goes back to what I was saying in the last point is these movies really make you think about our world, about yourself, and just so many complex topics that I can make a whole other presentation on. And then finally, soft power. One of the last lectures we talked about how this Korean new wave is influencing the soft power of Korea by spreading that global reputation to more and more people. All right, so looking at some movie prospects, here are 6 that I just looked up on the internet that we didn't go over in class. I haven't watched any of these yet. I tried to get some from a variety of genres. So there's comedy, horror, thriller, drama, adventure, all of those. Um, so I'm really looking forward to watching all of these. I think it's really gonna not only be enjoyable, but I think it's gonna be educational, and influential to me personally. Because like I said before, these movies have kind of a different way of speaking about topics that a lot of other movies just don't care to talk about, right? And all of them have a deeper meaning, which I really appreciate. So, in conclusion, this class I think has done a really good job of expressing to me the importance and significance of Korean media, and I've always liked watching movies. Um, and a lot of times I'll just turn on a movie at night just if I'm bored, I'll just find something. And I think a lot of the Korean films I've watched have really stuck with me. I can remember them really well. I can remember their purpose, and I think that's really important. And it makes them so much easier to rewatch. It makes them really easy to recommend to people. But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching some more in the future. Thanks.